So I'll just briefly talk about this program tonight before handing over to Victor as the moderator of the program. Today we're looking at a very important issue in Taiwan today, mainly whether or not there's a trend toward media monopoly, whether or not that has confronted Taiwan's young democracy. And so in the first hour, we have three speakers making briefly their statements. And then we will leave the second hour to Q&A. So briefly, I'll just introduce our speakers today. Professor Gary Ransley is Professor of International Communications at the University of Leeds. His research interests are in broad areas of international communications, especially public diplomacy and soft power. He has also written some work on the relationship between media and democracy. Our second speaker is Dr. Mia Ransley, she's a research fellow at University of Leeds. And she has been working on different areas of research, such as Asian cinema, media democratization of Taiwan and China. She's also a very productive cultural critic, a journalist, TV script writer. The third speaker is me. My name is Malik. I teach at Soas. So my main area of research is about international relations, or ITE. So one of my current research projects is to look at how Asian and Western media try to penetrate the Chinese market. I'll keep this introduction really short. Victor, now the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Monique. Hello, my name is Victor Chen, and I will be the moderator tonight. As moderator, I have this duty to inform you that the floor rules that we set. Since this is an open forum rather than an academic seminar, so please remember what we call the Chatham House rule does not apply. Which means those who speak, you cannot make any accusation or allegation with quotation mark or without. And please, when you speak or presenting yourself, please be polite and use civilized wording. And you may express your concern about the issue or issues and the topics discussed tonight, but please do not use any offensive manner and tune. And please, just like the monk says, be calm and sensible. For the attendees, if your first language is not English, I do urge you to write what you would like to say on a piece of paper, because this will help you while you make your speech. Even if you weren't given the chance to speak, you can still hand the paper to the organizer. The benefit is it will be regarded as records keeping. This event is for everyone to have an opportunity to speak out on the issue designated tonight. You might have heard someone saying something you don't like, but please allow others to speak their mind as well. Do not interrupt while others making their comment. Tonight's discussion is aiming at the topic of possible media monopoly in Taiwan. Please do not bring on any matter which is not related to tonight's topic. And if you cannot follow these floor rules, I will have to ask you to sit down and or to be escorted out. Final request, I would like to ask both panelists and those who wish to speak, please keep your speech or comment as brief as you can, short and clear. Thank you. Now, shall we start with the video?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now we'll play a 4-minute video on what we have been doing.
媒体的言论应该是很多元的，各种声音都应该要有展现的舞台。
It's a danger because it threatens to prevent the kind of public deliberation
新闻自由就没有性爱自由。
So now I will invite the first speaker of tonight, Professor Lansley.
Thank you. You haven't heard it yet, don't you? Goodness, I wish my students were as keen to hear what I have to say. I thought that what I would do this evening is talk a little bit in general terms about monopolies and the media monopolies in a wider context, and let my colleagues put it into the specific context of Taiwan, in order to understand why, we need to question monopolies in the media. But the first thing we need to understand is that the media across the globe are experiencing crisis, and there are 5 main reasons for that. First, of course, is the financial pressure in a global recession, and of course, for those media that are dependent on advertising, it's a tough time. The second is the changing nature of media and communications technologies, from print to the internet, and the death of the printed newspaper has been long predicted. There are ever-increasing levels of competition, of course, between news organisations, together with shifting patterns of news consumption and the advent of 24/7 rolling news channels. Competition adds pressure to the newsroom to provide scoops and exclusives, to be the first onto the scene, and in the internet age to update frequently. This reduces the time for reflective journalism and checking the credibility of facts and sources, and in turn means that the news may contain more inaccurate information than ever before. There are also concerns with the role of the press in society and its relationship with the state, including the police that we've seen in the UK. So this may be the Leveson inquiry in the UK. It might be discussions about criticising the royal family in Thailand. It can be concerns about the BBC and the Jimmy Savile's child abuse scandal. Or it might be disputes between journalists at China's Southern Weekend and the Chinese state. We're seeing this kind of movement across the world. And the final crisis that the media are having to deal with is the declining authority and legitimacy of the press, and therefore declining public trust in the press, which is particularly worrying for liberal democratic society. Now, the argument about media monopolies must play against this background. And the issue of media monopolies is important in liberal democratic societies, for the concentration of more and more power over information in fewer and fewer hands undermines the concepts of diversity, pluralism, and access to multiple perspectives which define the media landscape. Monopolies restrict our access to alternative opinions that will make us more informed, help us to make more informed decisions about the world around us and understand it in all its complexity. Most importantly, media monopolies challenge the idea that the press can hold centres of power accountable for their actions and decisions. Think about some of the great stories of the past 40-something years, which have changed the way politics is structured. The publication of the Pentagon Papers by the New York Times, which revealed the scale of America's involvement in Vietnam. The Washington Post investigation of the Watergate scandal, which brought down Richard Nixon and brought an end to the imperial presidency. The publication by newspapers of the WikiLeaks cables in 2010, and the Daily Telegraph's investigation of MPs' expenses, which changed the parliamentary system. In democracies, the press and news media in general are in the privileged position of being able to hold power to account and to speak truth to power. Their freedom to do so must be protected at all costs. My hero, George Orwell, wrote, "If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear." However, who guards the guards? A famous book in media studies is titled Power Without Responsibility. But the press do have responsibility to uphold the law, respect the truth, and protect the liberties of individuals. This, in summary, was the basis for the Leveson inquiry into British press practices and the media's relationship with its sources, commercial interests, and the state. Holding the press accountable for their actions is also important for knowledge and information, because information and knowledge is power. That is why we need to be suspicious of media monopolies. It would take up everyone's time to list how many media resources Rupert Murdoch owns, for example. 20th Century Fox, Fox Television, Fox News, Fox International, Star Television, majority share